Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 22 of our F1 24 Haas Driver Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Of course, this was the scene of our agonising championship defeat to Oscar Piastri last season, where we lost the World Championship by 0 points to the Australian. This season, there are still 3 rounds to go, including this one, and the championship fight is still wide open, because both Oscar Piastri and myself last weekend had a mechanical failure. I don't know what the odds of that are inside this game, but either way, it was Oscar had a mechanical failure very, very early on in the race. I thought we were just driving to hopefully a decent points finish, and then the R engine blew up with a few laps to go. So one driver it did help was George Russell in the championship fight. It means the gap on the top is still 11 points, but Russell now is 27 off the top of the table, so he has got a real opportunity to try and drag that fight right out until we get to Abu Dhabi as well there. I mean, we've had 4 DNFs this season now, to Oscar Piastri's 2, so I still feel like the luck hasn't gone our way. Russell has also only had 2 DNFs as well, and has not finished lower than 7th in Grand Prix he survived. He has been so brutally consistent this year, but just ultimately has lacked the pace against Oscar and myself in many, many Grand Prix. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel as well. We are trying to hit 140k before F1 25 releases. Also, if you want to help support us just a little bit more, you can do so for just £1 a month. You get early access to most of the videos and a few other little bits and pieces as well. But yeah, without further ado then, let's head here to Vegas.
The walls are close, the speeds are high, and the location is borderline unbelievable. It is time for qualifying in Las Vegas.
Well, it's not something I do very often on this game, and maybe it'll be really, really stupid as well, but I've taken a big risk as we head into this weekend. I am running a ridiculously low downforce setup here. Normally I run like 15, 12 wing angle. Today I'm running, I think, 8 and 4 around this circuit, so yeah, we're going to lose a bit of time through Sector 1, but I'm hoping, obviously, in the back half of the lap, obviously, especially on the strip, we are going to absolutely fly along around this circuit. Today, like I said, it might be brave, it might be really, really stupid, but see, last season here, maybe a little bit of kind of bad memories. I want to make sure we've got a car that is fast enough in a straight line that nobody can really compete there. Fernando Alonso, Aston Martin's resurgence late on this year really does need to be studied, because it has been fascinating to kind of see those cars fighting back towards the front a little bit more. There's no surprise at the man now who has moved up to top spot, but this is going to be the section of the circuit where we are really, really strong. We start the back straight 4 tenths away from Fernando there. You can see Oscar Piastri again, those Ferrari power units working rather efficiently. What speed can we get then without even a slipstream here? That is 225, 227 miles an hour by the time we make it down in towards the final few corners of the lap there. Little way away from the apex, but we'll get the throttle down and get nice and tidy at the final corner. Try and carry the speed back all the way towards the start-finish line here. Piastri, going to be a decisive pole position for him. We will line up P7, but I don't know if Oscar's got penalties or not. Well, there we go. Ferrari back in a front row lockout here. Enzo Fittipaldi joining Oscar on that front row. Pierre Gasly in third ahead of both Aston Martins. Lando Norris in a bit of an Aston Martin sandwich. But for Piastri, though, both of his championship rivals way down the order. This is kind of what it ended up being at the end of last season. Of course, Charles Leclerc looks set to win the title, and then didn't because he had a terrible Las Vegas Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri, of course, a lot of happy memories from around this circuit. The entire field covered by just 9 tenths of a second. But the big question, like I said, is does that Ferrari have penalties?
Amid growing interest in the US and legions of fans added in the last couple of years, there is so much excitement for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. .8 miles under the bright lights of Las Vegas, landmarks everywhere you look, punctuating the 17 corners and 2 DRS zones, one of which is down the famous strip. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position. and Enzo Fittipaldi completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Teo Porcher, Firestarter, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Sargent, Behrman, Ricciardo, Vesti, Perez, Norris, Ocon, Iwasa, Tsunoda, Joe, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Now it lights out just moments away. It's time to go down to the track.
Well, the other two Haas home races so far this year have gone terribly for us. Miami, of course, we had that crash with Charles Leclerc, and then Kota, yeah, the gearbox blew up with less than 2 laps remaining. I'm praying we get one good US GP this season. And if I had to pick one, I think Vegas surely has got to be the one, especially with the way the championship standings are looking right now. What we do know, of course, is that heading to Qatar, all 3 of us will still be in the title fight, no matter what happens. But Oscar Piastri, once again, in prime position here to get a good result. Lando Norris with penalties, though, gives us 1 less car to overtake. 5 red lights. It's going to be lights out, and away we go then for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Alonso, just like he did in Brazil, getting off to a flying start in towards turn 1, straight down the middle of Fittipaldi and Pierre Gasly there as the Brazilian will go backwards. And Gasly ends up exactly where he started there, around the outside of Teo Porcher through turn 2. Remember, of course, I'm not running much wing around this circuit, so we have got to be very, very careful. There is Alonso and Gasly still fighting down in towards the next corner there, just trying to cover George Russell off as we go late on the brakes. Teo, I think perhaps not expecting me to try and go that far around him. Wanted to run his car right away, you know, using the full track width here. And, well, just like we saw in Mexico City then, Gasly and another driver battling is giving Oscar Piastri a huge lead on lap 1. It's about the 4th time this season that he's been able to do that. And I don't think it's worked for anybody else so far inside this campaign there. It's down the inside of Fittipaldi. I wasn't actually planning on going for a move there. But the AI take a rather weird line in towards that corner. So up into P4 then. A couple of places gained on lap 1. And I mean, Ferrari, they need a huge result this weekend to keep their constructors' hopes alive. Gasly now trying to look around the outside of Fernando Alonso as we make our way down the strip. I mean, look how quick Fittipaldi is in that Ferrari car again. Equal power units. I thought I was on quite a low downforce setup here. But clearly the Brazilian running even less wing as Gasly and Alonso. How many battles do they want to have on lap 1 then? We will have a look to the inside of our teammate. Again, how have I got so little straight line speed despite running such little wing here? What on earth is that about? Very, very odd. And yeah, still apparently our strength seems to lie in the corners, so not really sure how that works there as we try to have a look. Oh, past Pierre. Nudge the outside wall on the exit, and again Alonso is going to be under pressure from Gasly. And I mean, Oscars must already have about a 3-second lead at the front of the field here. This is like watching prime Sebastian Vettel back in the early 2010s. This is exactly what he would do. Push like crazy in the opening laps, build up a huge lead, and then basically just control the race from then on. So again, we try and have a look past Fernando. Won't happen there. So I guess we're going to see how quick we are down the strip. There we go then. Very, very early on in the GP, but I like to see just how quick these cars can go in a straight line as we will try and crank on the ERS, open up that DRS as well. There goes 220. There goes 230 miles an hour. And Alonso, I mean, how many times are the AI going to do that on this game? Just move slightly in a straight line there and completely try and take our wing off. I don't think that's done any damage to the car, because Alonso seems to drop backwards. I'd be okay with it doing that as long as the other car got a puncture sometimes. So where has Fittipaldi got that straight line speed? I mean, this is just NASCAR at the moment. The battle of the slipstream is so ridiculous early on in this one. We will hang it down the inside, though, of Fittipaldi, and we'll hang on to P3. Oscar, 4 seconds up the road already, as here comes Fittipaldi again. How on earth is he managing that? That is so crazy. But again, he can't slow it down on the brakes. But again, trying to use the ridiculous top speed that this car is capable of here, this time against our teammate Pierre Gasly, as again 230 miles achieved. I mean, Gasly's got to still be doing about 225 there by the time we get down the end of the back straight. Oh, wheel to wheel we go. There was no contact between us, but he definitely nudged the wall. And now we can try and go in pursuit of that man in P1. Piastri does a 31.7 new best lap. We can only manage a 32.3. So even without the DRS, he is comfortably half a second a lap faster. Well, we are so close to getting back in the range of Oscar Piastri here, but I've got to make sure that we time it so that Pierre Gasly stays in the range of myself as well. So we try and make our way out onto the strip. Are we going to be within that 1 second zone? I think it's going to be super close. But of course, the DRS detection point isn't until a little bit further down the straight. I think we are inside the range, but I think Pierre might be just outside it then. Of course, we still want to make sure that we lock up this Constructors' Championship. But it has basically taken us the entirety of the first stint here to try and get inside the range of Oscar Piastri once again. I'm sure he was hoping once he checked out on lap 1 that he was just never going to see anybody else in this race. But I believe we're pitting the end of next lap. Mark, I'm sure, will scream at me right now.
Boxing this lap, give us the best in lap you can.
Yeah, after nearly 160 races in this series, I know roughly what Mark's thinking pretty much all of the time. So yeah, we're going to dive in now then. Will Oscar do the same? As all we've got yellows. That is a McLaren out of the Grand Prix, Lando Norris. So despite taking grid penalties this weekend, Lando Norris, our first casualty. Imagine if that had been George. If that had been George Russell, yeah, it would be pretty much dreams over this weekend. Like I said, even if Oscar won and George didn't score, he would still mathematically be in it, but yeah, would most likely be knocked out in Qatar next weekend. Big thing for me is I don't want Oscar to win.
Mate, Piastri's ahead of you. We don't want to let this hold us up too long, so do your best to get past and get on with the race.
Yeah, we're going to slightly check out them from Pierre Gasly at the moment, unless again I can try and time it out onto the back straight there. I'm just going to blend out the throttle slightly, just try and make sure that our teammate gets the DRS as well, which he just about will, I believe. So let's see if we can try and get a run then on Oscar Piastri here. So we open up the DRS. ERS as well, 232 miles an hour there as Oscar Piastri going to try and give us a big old squeeze in towards the next corner. Oh, a little bit of a hop, skip and a jump there over the curbing. Will we see the Ferrari into the pit lane? Yes, we will. So this is going to be a battle into the pit lane entry between myself and our rival, and the pressure then is well and truly on. Oscar will get it slowed down. We will get it slowed down as well. No major errors from either of us there, as will George Russell also peel in. Yes, he will. So your top 3 in the World Championship all into the pits at the same time. Oh, I think has he been held? I think Oscar Piastri's been held, yes! Oh, that works fantastically for us. I think he just had a slow pit stop, but either way, that works out beautifully. And suddenly we go from, what, about a 3-4 second deficit early on to almost a 3-second advantage now. Oh, we've got yellows again. Oh, what's happened? Oh, who's gone? I think Charles Leclerc's been it. We've got a VSC and a red flag. That might work fantastically for us. That might work fantastically. Second red flag in a row. As I think, yeah, Charles Leclerc had gone for a spin, but of course that means, you know, Pierre Gasly and co would have gained a huge advantage from this. But I got no idea where we're going to be restarting. It also kind of screws over our race strategy.
So let's think very carefully about our strategy for the rest of this race.
I think mediums should get to the end quite comfortably. We're restarting on lap 14. So that's exactly what we're going to do. What position are we? We're P5. So Piastri even's been even more screwed. 5 red lights again. It's going to be lights out and away we go then. Logan Sargent not getting off to a particularly good getaway. But yeah, of course, that's helped those 3 in front. But obviously we managed to get through all of the red flag traffic. And Oscar Piastri didn't. So as we go around the outside there, Logan Sargent, of course, everybody else has been given a free pit stop in this race. But Pierre Gasly trying to break free off the restart. I think Oscar's already up to 7th, so he's doing a very good job as we're going to go 3 wide almost into the next corner. Logan Sargent there, happy that he didn't go to the inside of us, but Charles Leclerc very feisty now after that incident earlier on. But what a crazy turnaround then in this race. Oscar Piastri now suddenly down in P7, but luckily, yeah, our teammate leading. Oh, here we go, Charles Leclerc. How quick is that Mercedes in a straight line? Look at that thing! I thought he might go by me, but I didn't think he'd go by us that quick. Let's try and line up a move on Enzo Fittipaldi as well then. Not able to make that one happen. But yeah, now you can see Piastri 1.5 seconds back. Sargent as well, struggling to stay in the DRS range here. So we might be able to try and get him out before the DRS has even been activated in this race. Don't know where the detection point is though. I think it's on the exit of turn 1 there. As Leclerc really tried to give us a bit of a squeeze. I got no idea whether Logan even was able to keep the range. Sorry, as Leclerc's actually missing some of his front wing. That might explain why he was so fast in a straight line, because of course whenever you got front wing damage on this game, the car is slightly quicker. Well, let's watch then as Charles Leclerc with the DRS. I'm sure he's going to absolutely cook down this straight once again. I mean, he might be able to get himself to the front. That front wing damage might genuinely have done him a favour here, as I cannot keep up with him. Look at that, using the battery, 230 miles an hour. We're still losing time to him. 234. I believe that is my record inside this game. No idea what that is in kph. I'm guessing it's got to be about 385-ish. But that is the fastest I've ever been inside F1 24. I reckon without a front wing, we could have done about 235, 236. Oh, no! Oh, Leclerc, man, honestly. What am I meant to do?
You've taken some minor damage.
Oh, right. Leclerc's almost binned it at the very next corner as well. What on earth is happening to the Monegasque man right now? But what am I meant to do? The AI, they're coded not to crash properly in those scenarios. So they lock up, go straight on, and then just stop right in front of you. Let's see now then. I said what we might be able to do with front wing damage in this Grand Prix. Now's the chance to put it to the test as we make our way out to the back straight once again. I'm sure Leclerc once more is going to be ridiculously fast in a straight line. Would he be able to try and utilise the DRS though as effectively as he did last time round? As here we go, 220, 225, 230, 235 miles an hour. And that pretty much sounded like VMAX. The fastest I've ever gone in any Formula 1 game was 240 back on F1 2016, but we are pushing the limits of what is possible inside F1 24. Well, I'm loving the fact as well as we get towards the end of this game. Théo Pourchaire now has just taken the lead of the Grand Prix. Enzo Fittipaldi as well fighting for the lead. I mean, look at that from Leclerc. Again pulling away from us. They're almost 4 wide for the lead of this race as Leclerc to the inside. What an attempt that is. I mean, this race is ridiculous. Las Vegas on this game is going out with a bang right now as Pourchaire, he's got no battery off the exit of the corner, so he's going to drop from the lead down to P4. But I love the fact that this late on, the AI now, we're starting to see some of the guys that started out in F2 on this game. You know, we've already seen Fittipaldi win. I would love to see Pourchaire win as well before the end of the season. But I just love the fact they can fight. Well, despite the ending at Interlagos last weekend, we've been spoiled to an absolutely ridiculous race. And this one might just be even crazier here. Charles Leclerc now, when losing some of his wing, I'm sure he's going to try and make a move for the race lead here. As are we going to be able to try and get past Enzo Fittipaldi as well? There goes 235 again. And Leclerc, I mean, look how far ahead he is. That is ridiculous. Charles Leclerc up into the lead. We're now up into P3. I might lose the DRS then to Gasly here. But I think he's struggling with battery management as well. But Leclerc, I mean, he's not going to win because of that 10-second time penalty. But he's run a 1 minute 30 in race trim. That is so stupid. I genuinely think Leclerc and Gasly have checked out now. I genuinely don't think we're going to be able to get back to him here unless Fittipaldi has got enough straight line speed to get back to them. I don't think Gasly can get to Leclerc. Charles Leclerc, by crashing, might genuinely win himself this race right now, which is so stupid to say. But I mean, look at that. Gasly cannot close in on him. Leclerc is actually pulling away in this race with 6 laps to go. We're just starting to go backwards at the moment for whatever reason. So clearly that front wing damage is costing us more than it is Charlie boy. Another 1 minute 30. He hasn't even got DRS. I felt like, I said earlier on in this race that I've basically seen everything you possibly can in F1 24. This at the moment is like nothing else. Here we go. Again, try and have a look past Enzo Fittipaldi. That's so stupid, the speed. So stupid, the speed there is. Oh no! Enzo's just hit me. Damn it, man. That's going to give us more damage.
The underbody's incurred some slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful.
Well, that might now affect our straight line speed here. As Leclerc is on 130.7. He might genuinely build up a 10-second margin over us by the end of this. Even with a huge slipstream, we went half a second slower than Charlie Boy here. We are definitely only battling for a podium right now, but he's broken Leclerc out of the DRS. Sorry, he's broken Gasly out of the DRS. What is this? Oh, we've got yellows. We've got yellows. Someone's breaking down. I've got no idea who it is. It's not Gasly in front, I don't believe. I think it's a car behind us. No, it is Pierre Gasly. No, our teammate now with a mechanical failure. What on earth is happening here? Is now Fittipaldi immediately going to try and send it down the inside, despite the fact there's yellow flags out? Are we losing another one as well? I've got no idea what's happening this late on in the day. I know we've definitely lost Gasly. I think it might only be him, though, that is going to be out of this one. As now Charles Leclerc, we've got a VSC. Why have we got a VSC? That seems a bit odd. Don't tell me it's another red flag. It's definitely only Pierre Gasly that's gone, which does huge damage to our Constructors' Championship. But Leclerc now might legitimately win this, because Pierre was the only one that was looking like he could stay within 10 seconds of him. As the VSC comes in then, we've suddenly now got a shot still to win this race. The gap to Leclerc about 6.5 seconds. He surely can't pull out 4 seconds on us unless we start battling. Fittipaldi's got front wing damage. Everybody is trying to get front wing damage in this race, so they have a better shot of winning it. This is just how broken F1 24 can be. What? Come on, Enzo. Is he trying to get Charles to win this race? What on earth is happening? I want to know, up and down this grid right now, just how many cars have got damage. Because it seems like Leclerc is the only one where he's gaining speed down the straights and not losing it through the corners as well there. Let's see, Porsche trying to get a run on me. We will instead turn that around and try and get a run on Fittipaldi. Yet again into the next braking zone there as well. Again, a little bit of contact. That's how around we avoid any damage, but slap the wall on the exit. 2 laps to go with this race. Leclerc now, that gap is almost 8 seconds. So Porsche now trying to have a look down the inside, so this could be for his first Formula 1 victory, as he will fly past us into the next braking zone. Fittipaldi, he definitely seems to be struggling. He's ran wide. Fittipaldi now runs wide, and he's going to drop down the order. And suddenly, getting a little bit nervous of the man behind us in this one, because that is Logan Sargent. Of course, I said at the start of this season, if Red Bull were to win a Grand Prix, I would buy Red Bull merch IRL in 2025. I mean, to be fair, at the moment, he's outside the range of Charles Leclerc, even with his penalty. But just over 1 lap to go then. And whatever happens now, I think this has got to be my favourite race we've ever had inside F1 24. So stupid. So dumb. But it's the kind of race you'd only ever get in this game. And sometimes that does make them just a little bit special as well there. Can we get a run back on Teo Porsche in towards the end of the strip? I don't know how many overtakes we've done down here today. Feels like every single lap we're either overtaking or getting overtaken here, but as we try and round the final few corners, Leclerc needed that gap up about 9 seconds. It is going to be at about 8.6 here as we get ready to start the last lap of the GP. This would be the most insane win I've ever seen if Leclerc can pull it off. Oscar Piastri now up at a P5. I think Fittipaldi has bottled it a bit too late on in the day, but Teo Porsche might legitimately still win this one. You can see how much we're struggling to try and get the power down off of the corners. Here comes Teo. I can't really afford to fight him right now, because we need to make sure that Leclerc doesn't pull away too much. And Teo Porsche back into P2, what is effectively the net lead of this Grand Prix. The gap to Leclerc now still is opening up 9.8 seconds. How on earth is he doing it? I am just lost for words. This has been the most ridiculous race I've ever seen inside this game. It looks like Porsche might be able to maintain the gap and keep it under the 10-second threshold to Charles Leclerc, but will we be able to just get a little bit closer to Teo Porsche to potentially steal what might be the win? It might not be, on the other hand. The gap 9.6 as we make our way out of this onto the strip one final time here. Leclerc, I mean, even using the battery, Leclerc is still pulling away from me, but we're going to get the run on Teo Porsche down in towards the final few corners. To the outside we will go. Plenty of straight line speed in this car, but it is going to be a drag race effectively against Leclerc up towards the finish line here. How much battery have we got? Will it be enough? Leclerc's going to win this one on the road. I am watching the gap though. It's still at 9.7 seconds, but it's not updating because he's already crossed the line. We have, I think, got it.
They have passed the neon lights all the way to the checkered flag. They're heading to the top step of the podium.
A great team victory today. That's the important bit here. On home soil, the drivers delivered, the team delivered as well, and to do that in front of their home support really means a lot to them.
Haas are no doubt happy with today's performance, having secured the win this weekend. And our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations as we speak.
Well, after we were denied victory last season here, I think just to claim it in the dumbest way possible, I'm pretty happy with at the end of the GP there. Charles Leclerc with a 10-second penalty. One of the most dominant drives we've ever seen on this game, and he doesn't walk away with the dub. I think that just goes to show you how crazy F1 24 can be. When this game is fun, it can be really fun. It can also be really stupid, and I mean, that's probably a great example of how stupid it is. Fred Vesti in a Sauber has scored points as well there. Théo Pourchaire 7/10 away from his first ever Formula 1 victory. Beats out Oscar Piastri there. Sargent ahead of Iwasa, Tsunoda Alonso, and like I said, Fred Vesti in 9th ahead of Enzo Fittipaldi there. Hamilton misses out, Russell misses out as well. So like I said, that is pretty much his World Championship hopes done and dusted there. Pierre Gasly, Lando Norris, your two drivers that failed to see the checkered flag. What does that do to our championship? Well, it means we have a 2-point buffer ahead of Piastri now, with 2 race weekends left to go. So yeah, if the season was finishing in Vegas like it did last year, that run towards the line would have been critical yet again in deciding your world champion. Charles Leclerc looking pretty safe now in P3 with that victory. I mean, no, he is out of it, isn't he, mathematically? 60 points up for grabs. Leclerc, unfortunately, yeah, had he won that race, he would have kept himself in the fight, wouldn't he? Because, no, he wouldn't, because the gap would have still been 61 no, it would have been 59. He would have been in with a shot still at the World Championship mathematically there, so that would have been quite funny if he'd achieved that. Pierre and Norris still in 5th and 6th. Alonso still ahead of Fittipaldi, Hamilton, and Théo Pourchaire might still break 100 points by the end of the year, which would be fantastic to see for him. Fred Vesti, 2 points on the board, just leaves Stroll and Zhou. Arguably them and Sargent, the 3 weakest drivers inside this game. Haas, we have a 58-point lead in the Constructors. That could be wrapped up next weekend, but with so many mechanical failures recently, it is not done until the checkered flag in Abu Dhabi. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. That is the craziest and dumbest race I've ever had in F1 24. Let's hope Qatar is even crazier.